and saying, we named this child, this boy child, after you, John Glenn, because you were the first man to completely circle the globe. And it stays with them always. Let us remember this is a human tragedy.
Peter, you were talking before about the sympathy from the rest of the world. Last night I was speaking with Reverend Hawley, who delivered that very eloquent sermon this afternoon, and he said to me that the whole point of a service like this, the whole point of a funeral, of a memorial, is we have to give people permission to cry. And that is what is happening, of course, all over this country today, but specifically right here. This is a community that is used to dealing with death, the professional fighter pilots certainly, but used to dealing with it in a very private way. Today, in fact, they got their permission to cry, and I saw a lot of those people out there, astronauts, former astronauts. I don't think there was a dry eye there, nor was there here in this building. I'm over in the, what they call Building 9A. This is where a lot of the shuttle training goes on. Spoke to someone just before the ceremony. She said Judy Resnick had been in here just 2 weeks before her flight, final training, said goodbye to everyone with a big smile on her face before she left after some final workouts with the remote arm. So I think, as I say, that Reverend Hawley certainly accomplished what he set out to do, as did this entire service.
What is the mock-up you're standing in front of?
That's a mock-up of the shuttle, and that's a full-size one, payload bay open, and that is exactly where the astronauts do their training. There is obviously no one training today. Nobody was training here yesterday. Nobody was training here the day before. The question being asked around here, of course, is when will they start training again? I must say, Peter, that I think that the President's words about we will continue the program, we will build the space station, must have been extremely heartening to everybody here, although I think everybody is also extremely realistic and understands that none of that is going to happen until, in fact, the cause of the explosion is found. Nothing can proceed until that happens.
Lynn, it may sound a bit callous, I hope not, but in talking to a couple of the flight controllers here today, they thought that in some respects this tragedy would give a boost to the space program.
Well, Peter, I think what's happened is most people are looking back to the Apollo fire, and after the Apollo fire, not only did airline safety improve because of what they discovered, but somehow there was a sense that safety aboard the NASA flights had also gotten safer somehow. I think there is that feeling here. It is very strong among the astronauts with whom I've spoken, a sense that they certainly hope that when the cause is found, and they hope the cause is found, let's not forget, it is possible they will never know exactly what caused that horrible explosion. But if they can find it out, the idea is obviously not only would it never happen again, but perhaps this disaster will make them rethink some of their safety procedures, some of the design. I simply don't know. Every single part of the shuttle system will now be taken into account. Everything is going to be looked at from scratch, and they will try to figure out not only what went wrong, but obviously how to make it safe for the future.
But as one of the mission controllers said to me this morning, Lynn, it is not unimaginable that as we push the frontier back, it will happen again, and that is part of the price we pay for exploration. We talked a little bit about the heart beating here at the Johnson Space Center, and of course it was not always thus back in the days of Mercury.